Hi, I'm going to teach you how to multiply a matrix with another matrix today. So this is one of the example as I've seen before. It's on mathisfun.com and it's a very simple matrix. It said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the other one is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, wait, I wrote it wrong, actually. I can't count. I'm a horrible mathematician, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the correct matrix that I was supposed to give you guys an example on. So, this is how you multiply a matrix. First of all, the way I remember things is that I drew this little grid, 2 little brackets. No, actually 3. And then I drew 1 horizontal line, 1 straight line, and a cross. So this is the model which you should be following when you multiply matrices with matrices, however you how to pronounce it. So as you can see, you always have to start from the top row, and then the second matrix, you multiply it by a column, and that's how you get the first number at this corner. So I'm going to start by drawing this big matrix, big bracket, and I multiply it with a horizontal. So I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna draw this line under here, and I'm going to draw this right here. That's gonna get me my first number. So I have to multiply 1 times 7. I'm gonna write it down, plus second one 2 times 8, and then the third one I'd add 3 times 9. So this is going to give us the first number within matrix. And then the second one, if I recall correctly, is this one and this one. And the way I know it is because the bottom one, if you overlap the matrices together, if you imagine with your brain, you can see these lines at the bottom, and this one is right here, which means the matrix is going to end up somewhere at the bottom, which means it's going to end up in this area of the whole entire matrix. So 4 times 7 plus 8 times 5 plus 9 times 6. And then I'm also going to use the same logic. We're done with this one. And then we're going to also use the same logic to apply to the second column. And we're going to go back to our first row, the top row, and the right-hand side column. And this is going to give us the top right side. So 1 times 10, plus 2 times 11 plus 12 times 3. And then the last one is bottom and side, which means we're going to get the bottom matrix. So we're going to do 4 times 10, and then 5 plus 5 plus 5 times 11, and then it's plus 6 times 12. So you got all your numbers here. So this last step is really easy. You're just gonna get your calculator, because I'm horrible at non-calculator stuff. And so we do 1 times 7. I'm gonna come back to you when I finish calculating this. So I just finished calculating all of the these little numbers here, and I got 50, 68, 122, and 167. So I hope I'm correct. So I'm now going to show you another example. So this is another example that I came up with. It's got a 1-column matrix and a 2-column matrix, and I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. So the same logic applies, and we're going to start with a horizontal one. We're going to underline the row, and we're going to underline the column on the next side. And we're going to multiply these two numbers, which is 48 plus 40 plus 56. We got the first number. That's our first number if we add them all together. And then we're going to go on to move down a row from the first one. So we're going to use a 5, and we're going to use the exact same column. So that is going to be 30 plus 25 plus 35. And then we're going to move on to the last row, and with the same column, we're going to multiply them and then add them up together. So it's going to be 18 plus 15 plus 21. And then we're going to go on to the next row, but we're going to repeat our, we're going to move on to the next column, but we're going to repeat the rows. So it's going to be 8 times 10, 8 times 8, and 8 times 9, which is going to be 80 plus 64 plus 72. And then we move on to 5 times 10 and etc., which is 50 plus 40 plus 45. And left hand problems. And the last one, it's going to be 3 times this column, which is 30 plus 24 plus 27. And I'm going to add them up together, which is going to be 144, 216, 90, 135, 54, and 81. I did that quickly because I've calculated it beforehand. Oh, you want?
OK 啦。
Yes.